All right. Fire them up.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Genre of Your Life podcast, a show all about movies, TV, and the genres that define us. This is episode number 41. I am one of your hosts, Doug Jones. With me as always are my amazing co-hosts, and three of my best friends. First off, we have the one, the only, Mr. Nick Johnson. How are you today, my good sir?
Doing good as always. How you doing?
Man, happy to be here with my three of my good friends, man. We have a fun show tonight in store. I want to thank you again, as always, for a really fun-ass screening on Tuesday, man. Without you, those wouldn't be as fun. So, again, my friend, hats off to you, sir.
Nah, man, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Man, likewise. And next up on the list, number 2, it's Mr. Joel Kindle, straight from Chicago. How are you today, my good sir?
I'm good. Living life. Life might be turning around for me a little bit, within these few weeks. So, I'm excited. I'm, very excited, very happy. It's going to be a good few weeks, possibly. Well, we'll see. But, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, man. You're laying the foundation right now, my boy.
Yes, sir.
And last but not least, he's back, everybody, straight from Hollywood itself. It's Mr. Moses Lai. Welcome back, sir. How you been?
Good. I'm good. It's great to be back. Long couple weeks and everything like that, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm here to, talk about movies and let's rock it.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad you're back. And we are glad you all are back. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This is Genre of Your Life podcast. As always, guys, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. I believe Google Podcasts is now becoming YouTube Music, from what I understood. So if you're a Google Podcast, one of the few of you, they'll be transitioning to YouTube Music as a podcast platform. But again, whoever gets your podcast needs met, you can find us there. We also have a full audio show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. Whether you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, or whatever, please rate, review, subscribe, follow. Yeah, we want to hear from you both. Your reaction, your thoughts, positive, negative, neutral. We have been we feel so warm and so humbled with all the nice reactions and nice reviews that you've been putting on our Apple Podcast comment section. It's been very positive, but even if it's a bad one, we'll still take it. Please don't be shy. Comments, how you feel about the show, or any kind of suggestions, whatever. We want to hear from you. But seriously, your support means the world to us. But again, please don't forget, follow, subscribe, rate, review, share the word with us with your fellow podcast friends, family, whatever. But as always, guys, thank you so much for your ongoing support. All right, boys. So, most of something really quick that I want to talk about before we do our ARGYLLE review, as well as our Matthew Vaughn ranking. So, Moses, as someone who's worked in the Academy Awards the past couple of years, someone who I admire you kind of see everything with kind of beauty of the show, beauty of films and movies. We kind of see everything. I mean, all of us kind of do. But you want to talk? So the Oscars this year, it's kind of, some things were kind of surprising. Some things were kind of just like, yeah, kind of thought. So what stood out to you the most as someone who's worked in the Oscars a couple of years, but like as a fan right now, what were some of the biggest surprises you took away from the nominations this year?
There was a lot of of course, some people might would consider sort of like snubs, or but for me, there was a lot of films, that I was definitely, surprised by and everything like that, that didn't get nominated or got nominated in general, the one film that, of course, I was hoping to get nominated, and it did get nominated, is this film called, Past Lives. We all knew that Oppenheimer was going to get nominated. I knew that. Everybody knew that. you all knew Barbie was going to get nominated, but this little film that I watched, with a friend of mine, Past Lives, is it's literally about this woman who's basically reconnecting with an old friend. I think like 20, 15 years later, and everything. I had a good time watching it. But there's been crazy talks about how Margot Robbie didn't get nominated, or how Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for best director, didn't get nominated for best director at the awards and everything like that. So it's I'm kind of very much like, it's I think it being nominated for Best Picture overall is enough for me, And this is no hate or shade to Greta Gerwig, because she is a very talented, director. So as Margot Robbie as a talented, actress too as well. We all know that. We all love, their work. I'm just happy that they got nominated for, Best Picture. I watched The Color Purple, film. That's the one that I was really hoping it would get nominated for Best Picture, but I'm glad it got nominated for at least one award, which is Best Supporting. I watched that movie and, had a great time watching it. And I was really hoping it would get nominated for Best Picture, because it was a really, other than it being a musical too as well, it was just a really, really enjoyable, film at the end of the day. So, The Holdovers, I watched that, too as well. And, don't tell nobody. There's a little tear that came out of my eye, but,
oh damn.
had a good time. That movie was very wholesome. There was a show that I watched, called This Is Us and everything, and it kind of gave off that vibe because of how sweet it was and how pure the story was and everything. And And when it comes down to Oppenheimer, come on, if that movie does not win Best Picture, then there's going to be a problem somewhere out there. When it comes down to Best Director for Christopher Nolan, all these directors that have done an amazing job, including, Martin, Scorsese and everything like that, as well as, Brad Pitt and a few other directors, too as well. But I think it's Christopher Nolan's year. Everybody knows it. If he doesn't win, then you won't see a lot of Christopher Nolan fans, being very, very upset and everything, including myself too as well, because I watched that film, in 70 millimeter and everything like that, and it was astonishing. It was moving. It was breathtaking. It was everything that I could imagine when it comes down to a film. All these movies, are great. There was a lot of, like I said, there was a lot of snubs, and a lot of films that I was really hoping that would get nominated, but it is what it is. American Fiction was a film that I watched with a friend, and I had a good time. It was comedic. It had very quick sort of like comedic sort of like lines that I definitely had a kick, and had a good time. There's two films here that I got that I still got to watch, which is The Zone of Interest and also Anatomy of a Fall. Those are films that have crazy amount of buzz right now that I definitely got to check out. But I'm excited. No slaps this year. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I just know it's going to be a great. I just know it's going to be a great year, and I'm excited to see what happens. So
yeah, you brought up something interesting. You brought up Color Purple, and I feel like that movie for some reason. I don't know what happened with the release of WB, but I remember that came out. I think it came out like Christmas, right? Around that time. And I think a week or two after it came out, I had the Regal pass. So I'm going to go with my Regal and go see it. And it was gone. Like, it was gone. And I was like, okay, where can I find it? It was the only theater it was playing. It was like somewhere in Phoenix. And I was like, really? So I don't know what the WB strategy was for that, or if it underperformed. But I thought it did pretty damn well, box office wise, for its budget. And I don't know why that was pulled so quickly. And I think you rent it now for like $20 on like Amazon or something. But I don't know. It's a shame that one got pulled from theaters so quickly. It'll probably come back, I would assume, for the Oscar stuff. But right now, it got kind of just pulled, and I was like, well, that's odd. But I still want to see. It's weird. It's weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely got pulled. All of a sudden and everything. But I was literally just like happy that it got nominated for at least one award, which is best supporting actress. Danielle Brooks is one of the supporting lead characters of that film and everything. I watched that and I loved the performance in that film. And out of everybody in there, I was like, she better get something, or I'm coming for somebody, So which was really, really great. So there's a few people here in the supporting category that that I really, really enjoy their performance and everything. But great movies. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I it's gonna be very. If that wins again, it's going to be very shocking, but there's this little movie called The Boy and the Heron that I watched on IMAX and everything. And man, like not a lot of animated films are breathtaking like that. The only film that I watched that was an animated film that was very breathtaking a while ago was, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. That was the very first one that I watched, and I was like, man, this is a very breathtaking animation movie, and also just movie in general. But when I watched The Boy and the Heron, I was like, wow, Spider-Man definitely has some competition when it comes down to best animated feature. But I'm excited to see what's going on. So, and yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Danielle Brooks, she was really good. She was actually really good in the Peacemaker series. She was really good.
Yeah.
She played about Amanda Waller's daughter, and I thought like she added she added a lot to that show. But yeah, I'm glad she, again, from seeing the trailers and the clips I've seen from Color Purple, I'm glad she's getting the recognition. But it's tough because I feel like, I've been raving about her since Holdovers. When I saw that at the press screening, I thought Davine Joy Randolph, she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, she's already,
so
she's gonna take it. I feel like, because she's won every single award, including Golden Globes, including, the, what is it? The Critics' Choice Award too as well. She's won that, and the SAG Award are coming up too as well, or soon, and she might even take that. So she's been literally, eating every plate, and a phenomenal actress and everything. So she's definitely gonna take it. So, but Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, she was literally she was like my, for her role in Oppenheimer, she was literally I think my second or third favorite like character in that film, because of that, third act of the film and everything like that, how, her performance was, I'm just glad that she's up here too as well. So, and yeah. Is there a nomination, Doug, that you are excited that's up here when it comes down to Best Picture?
Yeah, I was thinking about it today. Actually, I was going over the list today. Actually, I'm happy for The Holdovers. I've been raving about this movie since I saw it back in October. I love this movie so much. I thought there was some. I mean, Oppenheimer probably will win a lot of stuff, and I'm happy. Yeah, I think you said Chris Nolan definitely deserves it. I would like to see Paul Giamatti win best actor over Cillian Murphy. I know, don't come at me, don't come at me, anybody, audience. But I think Cillian Murphy will take it, but I would love growing up watching Paul Giamatti in so many different roles, from Big Fat Liar to fucking Straight Outta Compton, to this movie. Like he's just a phenomenal actor, and I would love to see him. Because he's getting a little older too, and a lot of roles like this might not be, might come to him as much anymore. But I would love for him to take it. But it wouldn't surprise me if Cillian Murphy takes it, and rightfully so. The one thing I'm touching what you said too, the animation thing. I was very surprised that I feel like the boy in the Heron kind of came last minute and started saying, "Bye, Spider-Man. I'm taking all the shit. Like I'm taking all the awards." And I was surprised by that, given how much the Academy and the industry just loves Spider-Verse so much, both into and now across, and the amount of artistry that they put into Spider-Verse. Again, I know the boy in Haran is Studio Ghibli. Ghibli, again, beautiful. From Spirited Away, Ponyo, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. But I was like, damn, Spider-Verse was really kind of laying the groundwork. Like, yeah, this is our year. We're going to win it again, guys. We're going to win it again. And then out come this movie. They're like, yeah, sit your ass down. Like, yeah, you better stay over there. And it's going to be surprising. If the boy in the Heron wins, it's also the guy's last Studio Ghibli movie, so kind of like a legacy Oscar.
This is not his last. Like, this is not his last Studio Ghibli movie. That's the thing.
He said it.
He said it several. Yeah. He said it a few times before. I'm not saying it's a shit movie. Like he does amazing movies. Like I grew up on Studio Ghibli, like way before I started like watching anime, and like my parents allowed me to watch anime. Like my family would like watch Studio Ghibli movies, but like I understand what you're saying though. Like this did come out like last minute, so for it to just like swoop in clearly to just be like, yeah, I'm probably gonna steal all this shit from y'all. It is wild to me, but I also think I also think it has to do with like with Studio Ghibli. It's like from childhood. There's a lot of fans. You know what I mean? Sure. And so like like when people heard about it, like it was everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, like it was all over the place. So, I feel like that contributes to it as well. I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard it's really good. So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, they have that. Studio Ghibli has a rich, like to your point, rich history of like from people our age to new generations to people before us. Like it has a very long history of just being groundbreaking animation. Like you said, like I said, it was just that Spider-Verse, like the amount of like it took him like 5 years to make this movie, and animation and just all like the rendering. It's very, again, I mean, it's innovative to a degree. And I was like, wow. Again, they won the best picture, back in 2019, and rightfully so. I mean, that was just a moment of like, wow, this animation is new, it's breathtaking. But they're still evolving the animation with Spider-Verse and Sony, obviously. But I was like, again, it was just like the summer, like, oh, this animated movie of the year, this is the one, because like they got like Elemental. I haven't seen Elemental, but like there wasn't a lot of like animated movies like the way like used to be back in the day with like Finding Nemo and Toy Story and Coco and even Soul. Like there's not a lot of like stuff like, I mean, there still is, but like it's not really as like theatrical as it used to be. So the boy in the Heron coming in last minute and saying, "Thank you very much, this is mine now," definitely caught me by surprise. And I'm rooting for Spider-Verse, given like talent, given the Phil Lord, Chris Miller, given the directors, given Spider-Man, which I love Spider-Man as a character. But I definitely can't say I'll be surprised if the boy in the Heron wins. But other than that, not too much. I mean, I definitely think Oppenheimer has a lot of this in the bag, just given like the moment it had. And another thing too is that when people were so up in arms about a few things before we move on, my thing was that Greta Gerwig should have been nominated. And I don't want to sound like a asshole here or something like that, but from what I heard about Anatomy of a Fall, it's a movie about a fall, and that's it. And I'm like, wait, what? And I don't want to say no one's deserving of an Oscar nomination. I don't want to say that, but like, how do you direct a fall and you get nominated for an Oscar? Like, hey, we can go whenever we can go. We can go like to LA tomorrow. I'll film you down the stairs. I'll call it walking down the stairs, and I'll get nominated for this. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can film Nick tomorrow. Hey, man, we're getting gas. We get hella cinematic, and boom, we got it, man. Like, like literally. So I'm just like, again, I don't want to sound like, because I've seen the movie, so I don't want to talk too much, obviously, because I have not seen the movie. But I do think that, or even Zone of Interest too. I've seen Jonathan Glazer. I've seen him do it's that weird one. Scarlett Johansson, like she's Under the Skin, which is kind of like that. She's kind of seducing those men into her van. Mm-hmm. Scarlett Johansson. But I was definitely surprised by Greta Gerwig not getting the nomination, despite whatever anyone feels about the movie whatsoever. This movie is the highest grossing WB movie of all time. It also
crazy.
That's crazy. You see like Oppenheimer. You see like a Christopher Nolan. You see like a Tarantino. You see like a Jordan Peele. You see like a Spike Lee. You see these directors evolve, and I think from Greta Gerwig going from Lady Bird to Little Women to Barbie, you see the evolution of her as a filmmaker, how she's evolved and how she's kind of just like progressed. And I'm surprised that the Academy didn't recognize that, given that they have nominated her before in the past for Lady Bird. And but what I thought about, look back on it too, they did the same shit. Yeah, I'm not trying to compare this at all, but like there's a pattern of this, because look back during when Inception came out, got Best Picture nomination. Christopher Nolan got writing, producing, not directing. And I'm like, Flash forward back to the Oscars that you worked at back in 2022 when Dune got like 10 nominations. Guess what? Denis didn't get shit, but like adapted screenplay. And I'm like, wait, you're rewarding their movies, but not their direction? Like, huh? Like, I don't know. And the big one was Argo. When Argo won Best Picture, everyone's like, but Ben Affleck didn't get shit for direction. And I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And I was like, all right. So it's a pattern that I've seen the Academy do. Like, we'll reward your movie, but your filmmaking, no, we're good. And I'm just like, but why? They've put in the work, and you can see their evolution as filmmakers. I don't know. To me, it's kind of stupid. And another thing too, I said in my review, when I reviewed Oppenheimer and Barbie back in July, I said that I thought America Ferrera and Ryan Gosling were stronger performances than Margot Robbie. I love Margot Robbie. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time. I thought she was phenomenal in Babylon. I thought she got a nomination for that, if you ask me. But for Barbie, I thought she was very good, but she wasn't kind of her movie. But like, I thought that America Ferrera's speech, her monologue, what she has to offer, I thought Ryan Gosling kind of being Ken definitely was more of the performances that people were talking about than Margot. And again, she still got nominated for Best Picture because she produces Barbie, so I get it. But I do think Greta should have been nominated, and I wasn't too surprised about Margot not getting it personally. And again, love Margot, but I've seen her act her ass off in stuff like Babylon, Bombshell, I, Tonya, Wolf of Wall Street. Barbie's very good, it's very iconic. But I've seen her really just act her fucking ass off in a lot of other things where I was like, I want to see her get nominated for Babylon instead. That's a performance like no other. And Barbie's very good, so it's fun to watch her. But best actor nomination, best actress nomination. And to be fair too, I said the same shit about Leo DiCaprio, Kills the Flower Moon. I thought that was his weakest performance. He's good, not his best. I thought Wolf of Wall Street's better performance. Departed, Catch Me If You Can, Revenant. List goes on and on. What's the plan in Hollywood? But for me, I thought Kills Flower Moon. I thought De Niro and Lily Gladstone kind of like were the way stronger performances than Leo. People are like, oh, Leo got snubbed. I'm like, he's fine. He's been on it 1,000 times before. He's won before. He's gonna be fine. Leo DiCaprio and his 24-year-old girlfriend will be fine. Like he's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing another film. Right now with with I'm forgetting
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Anderson and everything like that. So if it comes to be and everything like that, that film might be released this year, and you never know. The nomination for best actor might he might get nominated and everything like that too as well. So the one thing when it comes down to best picture, like you were saying, Doug, is how Barbie didn't get best director, or how some other films didn't get best director. I think what it is on the people that vote, they probably think, okay, with all of these, directors here and everything like that, it's when you look at Barbie and everything like that, you 100% would know, or you definitely know, like there was a lot of executives, behind on choosing on what to basically also, be in frame too as well, to be a little honest, that might be the case of why she didn't exactly get nominated, is because you have executive who's also making decisions too as well, not just her. When you look at, Poor Things and everything like that, when you look at, Martin Scorsese or Christopher Nolan, when you look at, the films that they made, you kind of know that, they were the ones behind every little aspect. They probably didn't have an executive behind their shoulders, especially when you have a huge IP like Barbie. You're gonna get like 5 executives, behind you too as well, making some adjustments, to your film,
100%.
But when you look at Oppenheimer and everything, a story that's written by Christopher Nolan, and him making so many other crazy flicks since the 2000s and everything like that, early 2000s. It's you get the idea to how he had the final say, and most likely the only say, as well as Martin Scorsese, as well as Poor Things too as well. This is no shade to Greta Gerwig and everything like that at all, and I love her films, and all the way down to Little Women and Lady Bird and everything. I love those films, so I just think that might be the case for also Dune too as well. So you never know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah,
Make a good point. It's I don't know. I feel like the past couple of years, like I remember when you and I watched the Oscars before Oscar party. I remember like the 2 popes, and you and I were like, "Who saw the 2 popes?" Like, come on, like who saw? See what I'm talking about? We're like, there were so many better movies that year. You and I were like, the 2 popes. Like, come on now, what? Like, who? Come on, like, wait a second.
What's going on here?
Wait a second. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I also too, I think, I mean, this is a quick thing too. I thought Iron Claw got snubbed. I thought Zac Efron was a phenomenal performance in that movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I'm going to, but I heard amazing things about that movie. Only good things.
I teared up because I had no interest seeing that movie because I'm not a wrestling fan, and the trailers didn't sell me. Me and Joel's friend Femi from high school calling me, goes, "Bro, you got to see this movie, bro." And I was like, "I'm good, man." He goes, No, you got to see this movie. You got to see it. And I was like, all right, whatever. It had playing at Regal, had my pass. So I was like, I'll go walk over and see it. It was me and one other guy. Other guy fell asleep 20 minutes and he started snoring. I was like, all right, just me. And I was just, and I was watching it and I was just mesmerized by this movie. I was like, holy shit. I just felt so connected to these characters. And it's hard to believe it's a true story. I'm keeping it on spoiler. And I was just like, wow. And I thought that Zac Efron acted his fucking ass off. Similar kind of like Uncut Gems, where Sandler got nothing that year for Uncut Gems, where I was like, why are these movies that are like really showing like Tour de France kind of like just like really good performances from these actors, like not getting anything? And I thought the same thing with Michael B. Jordan too. Why did Michael B. Jordan not get a nomination for Killmonger? Because he had so much depth to that character, and it was so like intriguing, so just like the way he has to like be so menacing, but also so vulnerable at the same time. Like there's things where I'm just like, wait, huh? I don't know. So again, there's some calls where I'll be like, I don't agree with that, or snubbed, whatever. But another thing too, I will say this too. For me, I'll say this is that Killers of the Flower Moon is a very well made movie. I have not liked a Scorsese movie in 10 years since Wolf of Wall Street. I thought Silence was okay.
Wow.
Silence was okay. Irishman, I was kind of bored in. I was like, all right, another 3 hours of this. Okay, we're good to go. And Killers of the Flower Moon, I gotta watch it again because when I first saw it, I wasn't like the best theater to see. I was in the really kind of shitty like theater in Mesa, and this one guy was like, "Hey Carol, hey Carol," and I was like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Oh no," and when he's talking on his phone, and I was like, "Oh Jesus." I was like, this isn't good. So I think I'll watch it again, like on Apple, whatever, or I'll see it again with my ARGYLLE pass. But, yeah, there's a lot of things where this year I was like, all right, but nothing too crazy. I would love to see holdovers take a lot of things home. But like you said, Moses, I think it's going to be a lot of Oppenheimer this year. But, we'll see. March 10th. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Alrighty, guys. Now,
you guys will. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say you guys are gonna be the inside of. You guys are gonna be my information for the award shows because I don't watch them anymore. I stopped watching them very, very long time ago. Like probably high school, right, Doug? Around high school.
I remember the one that you and I last watched together. It was my last year before I moved out to Arizona. It was you, me, at TJ's house. We were watching the Oscars, and it was the year The Revenant was up for nominations. And you and I both said, we're like, wow, Tom Hardy should get this. Because Tom Hardy was way better than Leo and The Revenant. And Leo won and Tom Hardy did. And I was like, you and I really like, we like Leo a lot, but we both, also Tom Hardy fans, but you and I were like saying, like,
Tom Hardy did a lot better in that. Yeah, he carried it way farther than, it would have without him. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we'll keep you posted. We'll probably do some picks too on the next episode before the Oscars is to kind of like some like fake bets, whatever. But yeah, we'll see. March 10th. We'll see.
All right, let's do it.
Alrighty, guys. So moving into our review of the week, you got me and Nick. We checked out Matthew Vaughn's new spy action comedy, ARGYLLE. And if you don't know what ARGYLLE is about a reclusive author who writes espionage novels about a secret agent and a global spy syndicate realizes that the plot of the new book she's writing starts to mirror real-world events in real time. And this is by Matthew Vaughn. Matthew Vaughn has done stuff like Kick-Ass, for the first Kick-Ass, the Kingsman franchise, X-Men First Class, and a whole bunch of other movies. He produced a lot of stuff too, like Rocket Man. So if you like his kind of style, if you're familiar with Kingsman or Kick-Ass or X-Men First Class, you know kind of what you're going in for. Nick, my friend, as always, what was your thoughts on the new Matthew Vaughn spy espionage comedy action comedy ARGYLLE?
Well, I loved this movie. Like I said this in the theater, like this is already one of my favorite spy movies. Without spoiling anything, there was a lot of twists and turns, and that was fun. The action was really cool. There was some comedy in it, but it didn't like stop the movie to make the joke. You know what I mean? Like the comedy was very organic, or the humor was very organic. And if nothing else, the ending was insane, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But it was really, really good. I had a really good time watching it. Yeah, I loved it.
What would you rate it?
Ooh, I would probably give it. I think a B+ right now.
Okay. That's a solid rating for us.
Yeah, because I had a lot of fun with it, but I do think I am wondering if there are like some tweaks I would maybe make to it, but it's something I'd have to think on. But it was dope though. I loved. Oh no, yeah, there was definitely some stuff that I wanted to I wanted them to kind of go into a little bit more. So that's kind of why it's like a B+, not like a A. It was just like you didn't quite take it there.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I have a few things that I'll probably agree with you on, but I'll start off with this. Dan, this movie can also keep this non-spoiler for everybody, for you guys, for our audience too. If the movie comes out tomorrow, I'll start today while we're recording this. This movie is a ton of fun. Matthew Vaughn is one of my favorite filmmakers ever since Kick-Ass, and this is definitely a Matthew Vaughn movie through and through. It's over the top, as you kind of most of his movies are, especially kind of like Kingsman and Kick-Ass. But for some reason, whether it's Kick-Ass, whether it's this, whether it's Kingsman, whatever, it always works for me, and his stamp is all over this. And you know what? Really, he knows how to assemble a cast, man. From stuff like Kingsman or First Class and all the Kingsman movies, and now this, he has A-list top tier cast of everybody, like from Sam Jackson, Ariana DeBose, from Bryan Cranston, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, John Cena, Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa. Like the cast is phenomenal, and the cast is like definitely I think the biggest selling point of this movie. And what I love seeing too is that it's a Universal released movie, but this is a partnership between Universal and Apple. And I just love this. Apple is still partnering with major studios for commitment for theatrical release. Amazon has Amazon MGM now. Apple is partnering. They're partnering with Paramount for Killers of the Flower Moon. They're going to Sony. They're going to do Sony with the Brad Pitt, George Clooney movie coming out in September. I love seeing their commitment to the wider release, theatrical release. This movie has a hell of a big budget, $200 million plus marketing, distribution, all that kind of stuff. They could have been like, you know what, this is gonna be our A-list, top streaming movie of the week or the month for 2024. Let's get it. No, they truly committed to this movie on a wide release and every format: RPX, 40X, IMAX. Literally everything, Cindy Capri, like you name it. And I'm really hoping that this movie does well financially, just because I want to see Apple keep partnering with studios like Universal and Sony and Paramount, just kind of keep it going, just kind of keep the theatrical experience alive. And this movie is definitely a movie for the theaters through and through. What I said in my out of theater reaction too was that I like seeing Matthew Vaughn move away from Kingsman. Listen, I love the first Kingsman movie, and for what it's worth, I also like the second Kingsman that we saw in college. And me and Joe saw the Kingsman prequel when he came visit me a couple years ago. As a trilogy, quote unquote trilogy, I love that franchise. It's a lot of fun. I love the first one more than the other two, but I really do love Matthew Vaughn's stamp on that. But I do appreciate him kind of stepping away from that universe and kind of doing something, new and different. But yes, it's still not spy espionage world, but it's definitely a departure from Kingsman to a degree. Also, given that Nick, you and I both said this too, that the PG-13 rating, we didn't mind it, but you and I both said that this could have been rated R easily, and it probably should have been rated R.
Yeah, especially for those action scenes.
Yes,
because it was like the way that the action scenes basically went down. Had there been a little bit more, say, bloody violence, it would have, it would not have been gratuitous. Like if when you see it, like you'll understand. But yeah, it was just like, I don't want to spoil it, but if it just needed to go there just a little bit more, just to take that extra step.
There's no spoiler. There's that one scene that you and I both that one long tracking shot. You and I were like, this could have been R. This would have been way cooler if it was an R. Kind of like the kind of the fight scenes where Eggsy's at Sam Jackson's kind of lair, kind of doing with the bullets and stuff like that. Like that was like hardcore R and like gore and blood. But you and I were like, this could have been cooler if it was some blood to it, some R to it. But
yeah, it's like they were holding back a little bit.
Yes, and that's what I thought too, and that's why I thought that it was definitely weird that given his track record of doing R movies like Kick-Ass and Kingsman franchise, and X-Men First Class is rated PG-13, obviously because it was X-Men at the time. But I was surprised that he knows how to do rated R movies very, very well. Why was this not the case? Maybe it could have been the script. Maybe it could have been a studio thing. Maybe Apple was like, hey, you know what? I mean, also too, for a $200 million budget movie, you got to make a return on this. And I get you have Henry Cavill, you got Dua Lipa, you got a lot of cast that wants maybe kind of market it to like a broader audiences. But I do think that I think you and I both would have liked the movie a tad more if it was rated R, given the violence and action stuff like that. But we digress. But what to me, what was said too is that the movie has a great balance of humor and action with a nice blend of romance. All three genres kind of work very well together. Yeah. And I'll bring this up too before I keep going. Is that when Nick and I saw it on Tuesday, we were raving about it. We we told our give our reaction to everyone at the theater, and then we recorded our reaction. And I was like, man, like this movie was so much fun. Like our audience was like so into it. People were clapping, cheering, like laughing, having a good time with it. Our row was cracking up. Like this was awesome. And then I was like, this better not be another Exorcist believer scenario. And the next day, the embargo lifted, 10 a.m. I'm putting out a reaction on YouTube and TikTok and whatever, Instagram, literally everywhere. Argyle, 35% Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, I told you, Nick, I was like, did we see a different movie or something? Like,
yeah, when I opened that up, I choked on my lunch. I was at work. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, there's no possible way that everyone just fucking hates this movie. And there's no possible way that we did this like almost 2 times in a row. That's insane. The odds of that happening are astronomical at best.
It literally makes no sense. Like Exorcist Believer, I was like, again, I'm not a fan of that franchise, or I haven't seen any of the movies, so maybe that could have been the case. But like with this, I was like, the energy in our theater was just like, it was so wild. Like people were clapping and cheering, going crazy, and I was like, yo, this is awesome. Like it was fun to watch. Like, are we? I mean, Joel says too before we started the show. Like, our audiences and critics have a certain type of movies nowadays, because it's like, I don't know, it's this movie has everything, has everything, has action, has comedy, has romance, it has a great cast, has a great score, has a great cinematography. Like the score and the soundtrack is awesome. I love the score and soundtrack kind of blending together, both like kind of like the score from Lauren Bell and the soundtrack of the old school kind of classic music. And it has what too is that this movie has so much charm to it. Like it's so delightful. Like I said, people were having a huge. You and I were laughing. We were laughing. We were making jokes. We were kind of this. The vibe of the movie was very appealing. It was very charming. It was very very enticing. And this movie felt a lot like the first Kingsman in terms of charm and the heart it has to it, because minus the PG-13 rating, but like the blend of humor and action really, really works. Kind of the first Kick-Ass. The first Kick-Ass has a really good blend of badass action with a lot of humor. I think Matthew Vaughn definitely knows his voice as a filmmaker when it comes to like charming his audience and getting them kind of on board like right away. I think if you go back and watch First Class, First Kick-Ass, all the Kingsman movies, he knows how to kind of hook you in right away. And I think this movie too, like he knows how to like kind of have a lot of heart, a lot of charm, and kind of like really just like get the audience in like right away. You root for these characters. Like I said, like people were clapping and cheering on their feet, like laughing. I was like, this is awesome. So I don't understand the hate this movie's getting right now from like fellow audiences and critics. Again, all film is subjective. I understand that. But when I woke up when I saw the reaction, when I saw the embargo after they lifted it on 10 a.m. on Wednesday, I was like, what? It made no sense, dude. I was like, whatever. But to piggyback what you two said, Nick, that like the twist, there's a ton of surprises and twists that were so exciting, like certain character things, certain story beats, whatever. And I was more and more engaged. I would agree with you too, Nick. Like we're more engaged. Like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that was really cool. That's a cool twist. That's a cool turn. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm with this. And they kept them coming. They weren't all at once. Like they kind of spread out all the twists and turns from beginning to the end. But I'll say this to Lee, so let's do it at a theater reaction too. Fucking Sam Rockwell, man, steals the entire movie. I love this man so much. I love this man more and more as an actor. He is perfectly casted in this, and he legit had you and I just dying laughing throughout the entire of the movie. Like he was saying some like really funny shit that you and I were just busting out laughing, and it was fun seeing the audience kind of just like had that kind of like all in laughter kind of unison kind of moment together. Like the moment you see him on the train scene, oh my god, the beard and the hair, like
it was looking crazy.
It was crazy, and you knew right away like who he was and like what his kind of vibe was to a degree. But he just like, you're so on board, and it was funny what Lee told us after the movie. I give her reaction. Lee was like, "Oh, he's a national treasure," and we're like, "Yes, he is," because he's so
like facts.
We're like, because he's so funny and he's so lovable. I'm so happy that Matthew Vaughn casted him, and I would love to see them work together. Maybe in this universe, but also something separately, maybe not Argyle-related movie, because I thought he and Matthew Vaughn worked tremendously together, like really well. Like this was a great leading man choice that he picked through Sam Rockwell. And I'll tell you what really is the heart of this movie is the is the chemistry between Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. Like Sam Rockwell, she also was the heart of this movie. And I think, I've been watching her since Spider-Man 3 when she was Gwen Stacy, and I think I'm not a Jurassic World fan, but I like what she did in that, I like her character, like kind of her situation in that movie. But this is her story. I think this might be my favorite performance of her as an actor because you can tell she's having so much fun throughout the entire movie. She adds a lot of depth to her character, into the overall story, not keeping spoiler free. But again, the chemistry between Sam Rockwell and her it's so electric. And I never doubted it or like found it like unbelievable where I'm like, yeah, I don't see the chemistry whatsoever. Like, there's a lot of movies that I've seen recently where I'm like, the chemistry in this is terrible. Like, I don't believe this whatsoever. The chemistry works 100% throughout. I had a big stupid smile on my face next to you the entire movie because her and Sam Rockwell go on this kind of crazy, insane adventure and over the top multiple times. But damn, does it work? And it works so well. But again, before I do my kind of unfortunately my few flaws of the movie, the cast again from Cavill, John Cena, Ariana DeBose, Sam Jackson, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, even Dua Lipa, Dula Peep as Wendy Williams called her, Dula Peep. They make the movie so much fun. I love that even though all of them don't share the screen together like, all at once, each of them really do. Their presence adds a lot to the movie, adds to the enjoyment, and it also adds the rewatchability factor. Like, I want to see that part again with that character. I want to see this part again with her character. I want to see this part with his character. Like, they add so much kind of like flavor and just kind of just a lot of heart to the movie. All in small, big roles, whatever. But I like seeing that Matthew Vaughn was working with people that he's worked with before, i.e. Sam Jackson, but also working with a lot of new people like Sam Rockwell, Catherine O'Hara, Ariana DeBose, John Cena, because it's really cool. Nice to see him work with a lot of new talent as well. But yeah, I just have the time of my life with this movie. But unfortunately, like you said too, Nick, I have a few flaws with it. And again, on the way home too, like I was kind of like, oh, that was a lot of fun driving home, and I was like, oh yeah, that part. Yeah, that part too, I guess, whatever. I do think it did it. I don't know about you, Nick, but like I thought the pace was the first hour. I was like, yo, this movie is moving, and the pace is fantastic. Like it's going, and like I think around the second act when they go to the winery, keep it not spoiler the winery. I was like, okay, I'm feeling the runtime a little bit, and then from then kind of throughout the third act to the end, I felt it dragging just a little bit. It wasn't like, oh my god, like let's get on with it, move on, come on now, seriously. But there were some kind of repetitive elements, like the blinking stuff. Again, keep not spoiler, the blinking stuff, where I was like, yeah, it was cool, but it kind of added a lot to the run. It's almost 2.5 hour movie. Did you feel the pace at all in the movie, or they kind of drag a bit towards the end?
I'll say like it didn't drag that much to me, but during that winery scene, there were a couple of parts where it's like, okay, this is very expository, and it does kind of seem like we had to, put pause on the movie to have like this explanation scene, and then there was like another scene later on where another character kind of just stops the movie to explain a whole bunch of stuff. But other than those two instances, I didn't have an issue with the pacing at all. I thought it moved, very. Yeah, it moved for sure, but it was really fun. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you and I kind of felt the same thing with the winery thing. 'Cause I was like, okay. What I'm seeing a lot of people are docking this movie on is like it's too long. It's the pace is not good. I was like, I disagree with that. Yes, it's a little long. You kind of feel it towards the end, but like I've seen so many movies where I was just like, get on with it. Like, come on, like. We're still in this scene. Like, come on. I didn't feel that way whatsoever. I just noticed it a little bit on certain scenes when kind of action kind of calmed down, but then kind of picked up right again and kind of kept moving and going again. Like most of his movies are kind of like that. It kind of frantic, kind of like electric pace to them. Like I think The Kingsman also has got more downtime, but it builds up to like the craziness towards the end and stuff like that. But yeah, and also too, should have been rated R. We also kind of went over this already. Should have been rated R. This is his first PG-13 movie since X-Men First Class. again, I adore Kingsman. I adore Kick-Ass. I love First Class a lot. I think Matthew Vaughn knows how to get a good movie out of both ratings. But to me, I want to see him going back to the rated R rating. I don't want to see him held back. I don't want to see him kind of like restrained, because a lot of it does feel like they had to cut out not cut out a lot of stuff. They had to cut out some things where I was just like, ooh, they should let him do his thing because it works. Look at his track record. Look at his filmography. But I wonder if the book was adapted in a PG-13 voice from the script, or with a studio thing where Apple and Universal were like, hey, you know what? This is a big budget movie. We got to get returns in, and we got to get returns somehow, and we want more of a mass audience, which again, more of a mass audience, true, but we've seen things like Deadpool and Logan and other movies kind of do very well. Okay, look at Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a 3-hour historical drama, a very dialogue-heavy biopic about the atomic bomb, and Oppenheimer grossed almost $1 billion at the box office. It's I want to know if after the movie comes out, it's like, hey, like, why was this rated PG-13? And also, too, you know, if you ever watch an interview with Matthew Vaughn, he's kind of a tough interview. He likes to like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like he really he'll test you. Like you're the interviewer. And you're being interviewed now. And I was like, oh damn, am I on trial? Because like there's an interview with Josh Horowitz on the Happy Sad Confused podcast. It's a great podcast. Listen to the episode with Matthew Vaughn. But he was saying like, well, like Josh Horowitz is like, you know, so I assume that Kingsman is bought by Disney. He goes, no, I own it. He goes, really? He goes, yes, I own it. Like he doesn't play no shit. Like he doesn't play no bullshit. And maybe because of the London, the British in him, whatever. But like I was like, damn, he kind of likes to like, you know, cut the shit and be like, well, what do you mean? Yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, good for Matthew Vaughn. He's given the right to. The one thing I did have a problem with throughout, and I'm very open about this too. Some of the CGI was pretty rough. There's like right away to like the first chase scene, and I was like, it looked cool, but I'm like, yeah, that's hella CGI. And I was like, ooh, right away, we're with this. And for a $200 million plus movie, I was like, really? This was your CGI? I was like, ooh. But I can't say it gets better or gets worse. It kind of stays the same. And like the cat, I think the cat is overly CGI. Like it's really CGI at time. Like even like during non-action, like the scene in the kitchen with those people, that scene, Nick, where like I was like, is the cat CGI or real? I can't even tell. I was like, I could not tell. I was like, is this a real cat or not? Because I'm like, there was a lot of CGI just used for the cat itself. And you know, from the trailers, I was like, this cat is gonna annoy the fuck out of me. I'm gonna be like, I cannot stand this character, whatever. Nope, I was wrong. It didn't bother me whatsoever. It the jokes kind of worked with the cat throughout the movie, and I was like, okay, this is funny. But what's funny too is that when we're talking and credits about, you know, the movie, our thoughts, whatever. What's so funny? The company behind the visual effects was a company that kind of fucked me over at my first job out of college.
They did this movie?
Yeah, and I was
wow.
like, huh, makes sense.
You're like, that adds up.
Thank you, Jonah. I'm glad you laughed at that.
Sorry, I was on mute, but also that was just fucking funny. Because man, I remember you telling me stories about that shit and like how you had to do some work, and I was like, man, oh, dude. I was like, oh, now I have to see the CGI. It has to be bad. It has to be. Oh god.
It's not. Again, I've seen way worse. I've seen a lot worse.
Is it worse than Cyborg in the Justice League, the first one?
No. I wouldn't say it's that bad, but I can't say it's much better. It's better. Okay. It's better, but like it's
not
like
by much.
Not by much. Like the CGI in his other movies, like the Kingsman 1 and 2, and even X-Men First Class, is phenomenal. I think the way he does CGI in the first Kingsman is flawless. I think it looks really cool. It's very believable. But like right from the beginning, you can tell like, oh yeah, this is a lot of CGI used just in like the driving scenes. And again, you have the budget, you can do that. But there was times where I was like, this does not look good. This is a huge budget movie. What are we doing? What's going on here? But again, it's more of a nitpick, I would say. But, you know, one thing that Nick and I both agreed on right away, too, before the post-credit scene was that we think that Ariana DeBose, John Cena, and Sam Jackson felt super underutilized. And we wish that...
it felt like they were basically just cameos. So I'm kind of...
Yeah.
Like, I wish that there was like an extended cut of the movie so that everything, one, like an extended rated R cut of the movie, and then also just one that had like, you know, gives them like larger roles. Cause it was kind of like, I feel like you didn't really need John Cena and Ariana DeBose in these roles for basically what we ended up seeing in the movie. It just felt like, you know, you could have got anyone to play those two.
Yes. And you and I were like legit on the same point. I think what you told, I think Lee, and also like we talked about it like after the movie too, is that Sam Jackson has worked with him before, obviously with, you know, Kingsman, but like there's some things where now we're like, oh, they could have used him a lot more. They could have used John Cena a lot more, and they could have used Ariana DeBose a lot more too. And I was like, man, like 3 great actors. They could have used them more, especially given like the nature of the story and where things go. I think you and I both would have loved to see them more interact with other characters and kind of have more crucial parts of the story. But again, I hope they do get either extended cut or they do more of these movies so they can kind of integrate them a lot more into like future things. And there's I guess there's one thing that I was like, again, I was kind of pulling up to my apartment after seeing the movie, and I was like, I guess so. There's a thing happens to a character. Well, I like this kind of like twist and kind of reveal. I was like, damn, this thing kind of happened a little too quick towards the end. And it's the skating scene. Like, I'll say that, the skating scene where I was like, wait, what? Like, I mean, I guess, given like the nature of like the story and the plot and like the reveal, whatever, I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. I liked it a lot, but I was like, damn, they're doing this like flawlessly. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that like in a day. But again, given the history, more of a nitpick, given the history, I was like, okay, yeah, I can let it slide. But I was like, it was kind of a little fast. But you know, I digress. A lot of twists and turns that I appreciated. Some that I was like, kind of saw coming, but like, there's a lot more than I think you and I both expected. But you know, this movie's fun, guys. Seriously, see this movie, see some of the big screen, see the opening weekend, see it with a big crowd. It's fun seeing movies like this, an action comedy where you can laugh with a huge audience, you can clap, you can cheer, you can have a good time with it. It's a feel-good movie too, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm giving this really a solid 8.5 out of 10. Not as good as the first Kingsman or the first Kick-Ass, but it's my third favorite X-Men, third favorite Matthew Vaughn movie, tied with First Class. I think it's definitely an improvement over Kingsman 2. Even though I enjoy Kingsman 2, and you and I both like the Kingsman, Joe, a lot, but I think this definitely is a lot better than the Kingsman. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this franchise if it does well. So again, please support this movie. Go to the theaters, see it with the crowd. Don't wait for it to come on Apple. Go to IMAX, RPX, 4DX, or whatever, matinee, whatever. See it in theaters. It's worth the price of admission, full price for sure. And I'll tell you this too, no spoiler. Stay for the post-credit scene. Stay for the post-credit scene because we're about to leave and something happens. And Nick and I were like, hey, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, no way. No way. No way. And I was telling this before this. I had a theory about this. And I was like, no shit. I was like, oh shit. And the crowd went crazy. Like, the crowd went crazy. And me and Nick were like, wait, what? On our phones, of like, wait, how? What? So, and also, too, I'm saying this a lot, too. I don't know what happened or the embargo, whatever, but people are spoiling the fuck out of this movie already on Twitter and TikTok. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Let people enjoy the reveals and the twists and the surprises, because I would be so pissed if I knew about some things before seeing this. I'd be like, well, thanks a lot. But so if you can avoid social media, avoid Argyle coverage on whatever, Twitter or Instagram or TikTok especially, they're spoiling so much things already after the movie came, after the screening. I was like, there's an embargo for a reason. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, come on, like enjoy the movie. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Love this movie. I want to see it again. I want to see it on the big screen again. I want to see it in a theater with the audience. loved it. I love this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I'm definitely buying this on Blu-ray when it comes out for sure. So thank you, Apple. Thank you, Universal, because you guys did a hell of a good job with this movie. And Matthew Vaughn, keep doing you, baby. All righty, guys. So with that, with our review of the week down, let's get into our first tier list maker of the podcast. So if for you guys and for our audience too, if you know what a tier list is, basically it's kind of like a ranking system. A lot of people do it on TikTok, a lot of people do it on Instagram, a lot of other podcasts do it. A tier list is kind of like we're going to rank how you rank certain movies, how you rank certain foods or TV shows or anything. And if you go to tiermaker.com, you can do your own. They have so many options too, like DC, a tier list that we'll probably do one day on the podcast. MCU that we'll probably do on the podcast one day. Star Wars, Why Joel Hates Disney tier list, basically. Like we'll have a lot of those. We'll have a lot of those. We'll have a lot of those. The best Costco foods, whatever. But we'll have a lot of we'll probably do a lot more tier lists. But it's our first one. So to give you guys, again, I'll probably post it too on our page tomorrow when we post the episode. But to give you all three of you guys the tier list, there's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rankings, right? We have S for superior, bring A, B, C, D, and F. And the last one is haven't seen. Because I think there's 2 movies that I haven't seen personally that I would probably put up there. We'll be ranking. This tier list is all about ranking Matthew Vaughn's movies, including Argyle. So again, if you haven't seen his movies too, that's fine. I hope you still follow along. Again, we'll post this tomorrow on our page. But we're going to do our first tier list. But I'm going to copy the way another podcast. Shout out to Real Blend. Like, listen to their show. They're awesome. They do a lot of tier lists on their shows. So how we're going to do it is if Nick and I said, hey, we loved Argyle, both S, but if Joel Moses said A or a B, we would give it an A. So it's kind of like, it would kind of just like measure it out. So if Joel said, hey, I think Kick-Ass is an A, and I say, I think it's a B, or Nick says, hey, it's a B, the majority of it will probably go to a B. But if we're kind of split, if you and I said, hey, Nick said, hey, X-Men First Class is an A, and Nick and Moses and Joel say, hey, it's more of a B, we'll probably keep it at a B, unfortunately, because it's kind of just like it kind of carries it out, if that makes sense. And we got a couple of those movies on here that I think they'll probably all be on the same page about. But anyway, I'll post this tomorrow. I'll share it with you guys as well. So we have S for superior, like top tier, A, B, C, D, and F. And the very bottom, we have haven't seen. And we'll go in order too of his filmography. So first, we have a movie called Layer Cake. Came out in, I believe, 2004?
Yes.
Starring Daniel Craig. Do you know this movie, Nick?
Yes. I think that was, like you said, that was his first movie. I've seen most of it, and it was pretty good. But I got kind of busy with some stuff, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it. But it was pretty good from what I remember.
Okay, I'll add this too. If you've seen a movie that we all have not seen, or if I've seen that you guys haven't seen, we'll put your rating on there solely as well. So if you say, hey, it's an A, I'll keep it at A because we haven't seen it, but you still saw it, so I will put it as that. So Moses and Joe, have you guys seen Layer Cake before?
I'm looking at it, and probably when I was young, my parents probably had it on, but I haven't watched it myself personally, so I'm saying
good.
no.
It looks good. I'll watch this.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Layer Cake either. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I'll put it on my watch list on Letterboxd though.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now too. From what you remember, Nick, what would you give it?
From what I remember, I would probably give it probably like a B minus.
Yep.
Because it was kind of like,
okay,
it was kind of like Memento for Chris Nolan, where it's like it's good, but you only get like much better and better like later on down the line. It's like it doesn't really feel like, oh well, this is clearly a Matthew Vaughn movie. Like it was just kind of like, this is a solid movie, but it didn't have that like Matthew Vaughn kind of like trademark aspect to it like just yet, because it was like very, very early on in his career.
Gotcha. Hey, it's got your boy in this, Joe. Tom Hardy.
Oh, okay, nice. I definitely will check it out.
All right, so we're gonna put Layer Cake, 2004, and the plot is a successful cocaine dealer gets two tough assignments from his boss on the eve of his planned early retirement. All right, I'm with it. Okay. Oh no, the guy who wrote this movie also wrote Expendables 4. We cannot escape this movie.
That's insane.
We can't escape this movie, bro. We cannot escape this movie, bro. Jeez.
We're cursed, bro.
Oh my god. All right, so Layer Cake is going to be at a B. Okay, next up we have a movie called, I had it right here. We're doing is Stardust. In a countryside town bordering on a magical land, a young man makes a promise to his beloved that he'll retrieve a fallen star by venturing into the magical realm. I have not seen this movie. I don't think I've even really know what it is personally.
I saw it. My family is on it.
You remember this movie at all? You remember it all?
Yeah, I remember it. It is a girl, like it's very like it's romance fantasy type thing where basically I forget the main like whole thing of it, but basically this guy meets this like star, a girl who's basically a star, and witches are trying to get her so they can be young and like, you know, live for a long time, and he's saving her, and they go on a whole adventure and they eventually fall in love. You know, he saves her, fall in love, she can be a real girl type thing. Yeah.
Great cast. Charlie Cox, Claire Danes, Ian McKellen, Robert De Niro, David Kelly, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. I personally, I'd give this.
Yeah, what'd you give it?
I give it a C. I'm not a romance person personally, but it's also not a bad movie. It's not like the best, but like if you want to watch it, like if you want your, you know, I don't know, if you want something to put on where your girl's like feeling romantical, want to watch a romance movie, but you know, you're not gonna hate it. That's a good movie to watch.
That's what that's like what I thought. I was very surprised of how well he's able to use the romance aspect a lot in Argylle. I was very surprised at how well he balanced the romance genre with the action.
He's not very cheesy with the romance, you know, where it's just like, you know, it's not super cheesy, and Stardust has a comedic, you know, script to it as well, so it's funny, but you know, but it's more romance, it's more fantasy romance type thing, you know, you know, knight in shining armor, no actual knight, basically the protagonist is, you know, protecting the girl, saving the girl type thing.
This is based off of a book by Neil Gaiman, who's done stuff like The Sandman, American Gods, Lucifer.
I fucking love his books.
Yeah, he's great author. Coraline is his.
Coraline's so fantastic.
He's great. Okay, so Moses, have you seen this movie before, or just Joel?
Yeah, I have not seen. I
okay. Neither have I. So one of us.
Yeah, I've not seen it. Unfortunately,
one of us.
Like it's an old movie, but it's not super bad. But you know, it's more like kid romance movie. My family bought it a long time ago. I watched it. I haven't watched it in years, like a long time. But it's not horrible. You know, it's a romance movie.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably do a full rewatch of his filmography. All right, so we have Layer Cake thanks to Nick at a B, and Stardust thanks to Joel at a C. All right, this is where I discovered Matthew Vaughn for the first time. I think we all probably agree with this. 2010, a movie that kind of changed a lot of superhero stuff as well as filmmaking in general. 2010, the first Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass. And if you don't know Kick-Ass, you're missing out. It's basically a teenager. He's obsessed with comic books and superhero stuff. Wants to do kind of his own thing, but this isn't like Spider-Man or whatever. This boy gets his ass beat a lot, and I mean a lot. And
yeah,
this movie,
they go very like real world with it.
Very real
like
world.
Realistically, how would you get your ass beat if you're just some like 15-year-old kid trying to fight some thugs? Like they take it there.
And this,
but it's funny though. It's funny too.
It's funny. It's a super rated R movie. It's brutal. It is violent as hell. This movie I was not allowed to see as a kid, so it made me even want to watch it even more because I remember loving the trailers. I had my mom drive me like 45 minutes outside the suburbs to get like the costume of it because I wanted to be him so badly, and the costume was like super baggy on me. I'm giving this an S. I'm giving this an S because this movie. I remember finally watching it on my iPod when I was a teenager, and I was like, "What is this? This is gold." I was like, "What am I watching?" I mean, from the violence to a lot of stuff, to the humor, to the language, the soundtrack. This movie definitely opened my eyes and my vocabulary to things where I was like, "Oh, right, see this word." So I'm giving this an S personally. Nick, I'm gonna start with you. What would you give Kick-Ass and why?
I'm giving Kick-Ass a B.
Okay.
Because I like it a lot, and like especially out of the two movies that they did, because Matthew Vaughn, he didn't do part 2, but it's just like dang, like that one's like just the first one is just a superior one, man. Like because part 2 was kind of like it was cool to see where they what's up.
It's kind of fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
at times.
It's fun. Yeah, like part 2 was cool, but it was cool to see like where they are. A few years down the line, it was cool to see the characters like grow up and mature and deal with like new problems. But there was something that was just like a tad bit like watered down about it. Like it didn't have that. It didn't have the same charm that the first one did. And the first one again, like it felt like as violent and as raunchy as it was, it still had a lot of heart. I didn't feel like it was like as much heart in the second one, and it was just like more memorable. It just feels like the better movie. But like there's what's up?
Go ahead. Please
oh no, like and just another reason why it's B for right now is because like the it's like the two above it, like I put those up there for very, very specific reason. But like they're all like really close together though.
Well, before I asked the boys, did you hear this? That before I asked them, they're breaking a Kick-Ass. Matthew Vaughn is doing a reboot. He's doing a reboot, and because remember, he owns smartly so. I mean, I got a lot of props for this. He owns the rights.
Really?
To he owns the film rights to Kingsman, Kick-Ass, and Argyle. His company Marv has full control, full creative ownership on those franchises. And apparently that they already shot a first movie of Kick-Ass already.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I'm really excited about that because also like after the second one, like I was excited for part 3, but then there was all that shit that ended up happening to make it so that they couldn't make the movie. Yeah, so it was like god damn, and it was like this like I think I heard like the script for part 3 got leaked, so it's one of those things where like I love it as is, but a part of me does want a continuation of it. So to hear that he's trying to reboot it and he has like full ownership of it, like I'm very, very excited about that.
And that he's possibly directing it too, from what we heard.
And with that, a full Matthew Vaughn Kick-Ass trilogy would be dope. That would be really cool.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, Joe, what would you give the first Kick-Ass and why?
I'd give it a I love the movie. I think it's fantastic. I love Nicolas Cage, especially in it. He did, yeah, dude. I love Nicolas Cage. I used to not talk about it because so many people hate him, but I love Nicolas Cage growing up, man. I love so much of his movies, and seeing him in this, he did so good. I love Kick-Ass, I always like do a little chuckle anytime he says the line like, more like ass kicked, like just a dad
He
joke. And it's
laughed.
just like, okay, yeah. So, but the violence is great. The acting's phenomenal. I think, and it was a movie that it was very new, like style
Yes.
of superhero movie to me, which I really did love. Like it just got me so addicted to it and made me like dive more into comic books to see if like there's anything like this, and finding out more about like what really superheroes go through that a lot of like media and stuff didn't show at that time. Um, so yeah, I'd give it an A. I think it's a phenomenal movie. I truly do love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'd give it an A.
Would you be excited to see a reboot of it?
A reboot? Oh man, that's. I think I would be excited, but I also be nervous because you have to get like new actors into it, and you have to not. Or would it be like continuation from the last one, or would it just be a whole new like cast and crew?
It's a whole complete reboot. It's a whole complete
Okay.
reboot. A new cast.
I think I'd be excited, but they would have to do things differently. I want to just see like a remade version of Kick-Ass with like new people. I want to see something different that they didn't add in the first, in the original films, and add more depth into the characters. And also, not just anybody can be Big Daddy. Like Big Daddy has to be like really good. He has like. I would love to see Nicolas Cage back as Big Daddy, but he's a lot older. But whatever. But I think if you can't get someone to do super well with Big Daddy, then I'm gonna be heartbroken. But I would be excited.
Yeah,
Nervous and excited, anxiety, basically.
And I was very surprised that he apparently the first one's already been shot, and like I'm like that's it's kind of wild, but to each their own. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Moses, Kick-Ass. What would you rank? What would you give it, and why?
Kick-Ass was one of my favorite, films that came around that time. I think what are we talking about? 2000s? 2000s?
2010.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, man, that was like, it's an A.
Nice.
It's A for me and everything. So, and I had a good time watching that movie and everything. It's just like a bunch of weird kids, think they can be superheroes, and everything. It's like, man, what the hell? I'm definitely in, So I had a good time watching that. I love that movie so much. I remember pitching. I remember pitching you, Doug, and Nick, an idea kind of similar.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Kind of similar to that because I really I sort of like I enjoyed that movie growing up, but yeah. So I give it an A. So.
All right, so I just texted you guys what the costume looked like from 13 years ago. It's like 14 years ago.
Yo,
oh, goodness,
that's incredible.
That's, I remember that called God. That's so good.
Wow.
And young Fletch right there, man. Oh God.
It was the cheaply made costume too. It was so shitty made. I was freezing because it was like cold in Chicago. Wait, Moses, would you be interested in seeing a reboot of the franchise?
A movie or series?
So apparently it's gonna be a film trilogy with the first one already done.
Wow.
What Matthew Vaughn said.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Vaughn can call me if he needs, a director for the third movie. I had an idea, and it's still in my mind. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I would. I'm definitely. I'm all in. I'm all in. For it if he's making it because, like those are like that was like a really rated R movie. Watch it. This is some crazy, stuff. So, I'll definitely be in 100%. Take my money.
Especially with like Hit Girl when she was like what 10 or 11 and she was fucking this murking dudes. I was like, I'm in love, bro. I was like, god damn. Yeah, and also they haven't said anything. I would hope it would be I mean depends on when it comes out, but I would love for it to be a theatrical release, but given how bad the second one did, we'll see.
Like, I think it would do so good, you know.
I think so too.
I think so too. You know, I think it would do really, really well.
I think so too. If they keep the budget modestly like decent, like the first one had a budget like I don't know, like 30 mil. Like keep it like that. Keep it like lower to mid tier budget, and just kind of do a lot of practical stuff. Don't do it too much. I think the second one had like a way bigger budget, and it kind of shows. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it's harder now to do a budget if it's it's action related and everything, because you still need VFX or some CGI done in general. So it most likely would probably be around like 50 mil or 60 around that ballpark. So
give it like the Joker in the first Deadpool was like 55 60.
Yeah,
I can see that. Good call. I can see that. All right, so we have Kick-Ass. Since I gave it an S, Nick gave it a B, the boys give it an A. That drops it down to an A. So we have right now Kick-Ass at A. Alrighty, on the next movie of his filmography, we have 2011. It is X-Men First Class, a movie that I think definitely saved and rebooted the X-Men franchise in all the right ways. I think it's a super fun movie. Great cast, good casting from Jennifer Lawrence to James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and thanks to that movie, we got X-Men Days of Future Past, and then after that, not so much. So, I'm giving this a solid A because I remember same thing. I remember I saw it. I was like, I wasn't the biggest X-Men fan growing up, but I remember seeing it with Joel. Actually, me and Joel saw it actually. And I remember Joe was like, "Yo, bro, gotta see it, bro. You're tripping, bro." And I was like, "No, I don't want to see it." He goes, "Come on, man, go see it." And I was like, "Fine." I went there. I liked it. I remember Joel was like, "Yeah, I told your bitch ass you're gonna like it." And I was like, "You're right. You were right." So I think it's a really great prequel, but also it's a great reboot for the X-Men franchise that it needed. Because after X-Men 3 and how bad Origins was, they needed a win. And I thought that Matthew Vaughn came in and killed it. So I'm giving this a solid A. All right, Nick. What would you give X-Men First Class?
I'm gonna give this one a solid S. This
one, okay.
Because like one, I love the X-Men characters, and like I remember I was like a little kid. I used to just kind of like type in, because I was a huge comic book nerd and I love superhero movies. So I would just type in like whatever like superhero, and then just like movie, and then like search, and I would like kind of just like scour the web and see like, are they making a movie about this guy or this one or whatever. And to my surprise, I remember it was like, I think 2010 was when it dropped, or like whenever the trailer dropped, because I had stopped like doing that for a while. I had stopped like looking into like, okay, are they making this movie, that movie? So like when I was on YouTube one day after school and I saw like X-Men First Class trailer, and I was like, I just thought that it was like a fan made trailer, and like I clicked on it and I was like, that was pretty good, and like I was like, that was a little too good, to be like a fan trailer. So I kept watching. I was like, this is fucking dope. This is fucking dope. The little like guitar, like musical part that plays with, and it's just an empty. It's a shot of the empty chair from Professor X, and then like my favorite part of the trailer was it was like the scene at the end where young Professor Xavier and young Eric Lynch were talking, and he's like, killing Shaw will not bring you peace, my friend, and Magneto was like, peace was never an option. Like as it like, so bro, that went so fucking hard, bro. Like I loved it. And then the movie came out, and again, like the movie was really cool. I liked it. Like it basically introduced me, I think, to Michael Fassbender as an actor, because I don't think I'd seen him in anything before. And I believe X-Men First Class was the second film that I'd seen James McAvoy in. And so it basically kind of like, it low-key took me by surprise, and like I loved all the promotional art for it. The movie again was like very fun. It was really cool. like I feel like they're trying to. I feel like retroactively it was a prequel. I think like when they were making it, it was like, yeah, this is just going to be a reboot. But then it was like it was so successful and people were missing like the older X-Men that they're like, okay, fine, we'll do like Days of Future Past. I think that's just my personal theory. Yeah, like we'll reboot it but we'll still give you guys like what you want. So, and also like out of all of the reboot X-Men movies, all the James McAvoy ones, I feel like X-Men First Class was just the best because I like it the most. Like Days of Future Past was cool, but I think I enjoy it a little less than everybody else does. I wasn't feeling Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix was also just a disappointment to me. So it's like, what's up?
Garbage.
Yeah, for real. It was just like I feel like X-Men First Class was like the only like real good one.
Yeah. No, I think I like Days of Future Past a bit more, but I thought the First Class, what they were able to do and kind of reinvent and just like looking back at it, like how they were able to like bring back the X-Men franchise from the dead after 2 awful movies. They definitely did their thing. And I think Matthew Vaughn was the perfect guy to do that. And it's a shame because he was supposed to do First Class, but Bryan Singer goes like, I want to come back, and they give it to him, and his bitch ass, fucking weird ass.
You mean Days of Future Past?
Yeah, sorry. So Days of Future Past. So apparently Matthew Vaughn, of how well First Class did, Fox goes, hey, do you want to do Days of Future Past? And he goes, I would love to. So he had script and directing, right? And then Bryan Singer comes back and goes, you know what, I kind of miss X-Men, actually. I'm going to come back. And Fox says, okay, see you, Matthew Vaughn. Deuces, we're out.
No, they shouldn't have done that.
And we're like, huh? So if you hear the same interview I mentioned with him and Joshua Horowitz on that podcast, he was saying that, yeah, they kind of said, thanks, bro. See ya later. And he was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess. So he still got screenplay credit with Jane Goldman, his writing partner. Mm-hmm. So that was that, but he just kind of I think it's supposed to do Fantastic Four at one point too, but that obviously didn't pan out. I think he got producing credit, whatever, but who knows? But okay, so as for you, all right, Joe, X-Men First Class, what would you give it and why?
I'm with Nick. I gotta give it an S. I grew up watching X-Men, and so and like Nick, not gonna lie, the same thing happened to me. I was on YouTube just scrolling, and like I saw it, and I legit thought it was like a fan made trailer where I was like, oh, this would be a dope ass idea. And then I and then I see, and I looked at it, I was like, this is not a fan made trailer. What the fuck? Because the who posted I don't remember, but I was like, oh shit, I think it's a real movie, and like, and then it popped up on a TV commercial. I was like, fuck, it's a real movie, and then I told Doug about it. I was like, fucking so excited. I didn't know I only knew one actor, which was James McAvoy, because I loved him in was it Wanted, with Angelina Jolie and dude, dope movie. Fucking love that movie. We bought it. My parents bought it for me, and I just kept watching it on repeat. Loved it, and so I was really excited. And then I watched it. The story's good. There's one character death that's bullshit, and people are still talking about it to this day. And but overall, it was just a really good movie. And I have to say, like, this actually was an introduction to me to Michael Fassbender, and his acting just sent shivers down my spine. Like, his acting was so fucking phenomenal. It was just mind-blowing how good he did and how well he did Magneto, and I loved it. Like, oh my goodness, him, James McAvoy, they both killed it. Michael Fassbender carried that movie just way further, and I loved it, and his portrayal of Magneto is just fucking dope as fuck. So I gotta give it an S.
An S. All right. Okay, here we go. I also thought that Kevin Bacon was a good villain. Actually, I thought he was good. He was a good.
Yeah, I've never expected to see Kevin Bacon as a villain, but once I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, actually, this is interesting.
And I think it's one of the best cameos ever when they go to see Hugh Jackman and he goes, "I'm Charles Xavier. I'm Eric Thing." He goes, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that was funny.
And they go, "All right."
All right. And they leave. And he looks back. He's like, whatever. And he gets a cigar. It's so good.
Apparently that scene was ad-libbed. So like they didn't know that he was going to say it. So like that reaction was like kind of genuine.
It's so good, dude, and it's so funny. Like, doesn't even fucking like hesitate. He goes, "Didn't it? Go fuck yourself." It's so good. All right, Moses, X-Men First Class. What would you give it, and why?
I would give that a F. Nah, I'm just kidding. No,
Moses, I was about to say.
No, that's I give
about
that
to have our first real podcast fight right now.
It was about to be war on the podcast, man.
The real movie fights.
This was about to be your last podcast. I'm playing.
A week. No, I give that a B plus. Because that was one of my favorite X-Men films. It wasn't like my like favorite one, but it was definitely one of them. And everything. So. Because I really like Days of Future Past a lot. I really had a good time watching it and everything. I can't really say much because I don't really remember so much of X-Men First Class, but I do remember it as almost kind of like like them getting to sort of like know each other as a team or trying to basically become a team and everything. That's the one thing I kind of enjoyed about it, seeing all these, seeing, Magneto sort of like, get to sort of like understand his powers and everything, which I thought was really, really cool, and yeah. So I give it a B plus. So
all right, give it a B plus. All right, so with 2 S's and a B and an A, that drops it down to an A. So not an S, but we're still getting a very, very good score. So right now we have, where is it? An A? Correct. So now we have Kick-Ass at an A. We have X-Men First Class at an A. We have Layer Cake at a B. And we say Stardust, whatever, at a C.
Okay. Interesting.
So next, took a break from a few movies for a couple years, and then out of the blue comes this trailer. I think it premiered with X-Men Days of Future Past, a movie called Kingsman. And I remember seeing this in high school with Joe. Him and I were like, intriguing. And the trailer looked good, but we were like, oh, okay, whatever. It wasn't until we found out it was rated R, and they showed a Red Band trailer for it. And where me and Joe go, where did this come from? And we were just like hooked. We were like, oh, we can't wait to see it. And then Fox goes, yeah, we're pushing it back from October till end of February. And me and Joe were like, fuck, no way. Like, come on now. You're teasing us, man. You're giving us blue balls. Like, come on now. And I remember being so hyped for this movie because of the Red Band trailer. Because I was like, wait, it's rated R? There's some violence to it? Sam Jackson's kind of playing this kind of funny lisp kind of villain-ish thing. I was like, okay, let's go with it. And I remember seeing this with Joe and some other friends. And we were like, yo, this movie's awesome. Because it was fresh. It was unique. It was like more like a different take on kind of the spy James Bond, Mission Impossible kind of job. More James Bond, obviously. And I was like, this movie's fucking awesome. Like the score, the introduction to Taron Egerton as a director, as an actor, Sam Jackson as a villain. Colin Firth is so badass. The scene that got me for sure was the pub scene when they're in the pub with the manners make man scene. And I was like, this movie's fucking awesome. And I remember going to London during my semester abroad, and I remember we were walking down. And I was like, oh, I know this street. I was on the tour. I know this street. And sure enough, you see the Kingsman Taylor where they filmed the movie. And I was geeking the fuck out. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, whatever. I'm giving this also a solid S. I love this movie. I think this is definitely probably one of my favorite spy movies, right behind Skyfall, I would say. It's so much fun. It's hilarious. The action's so badass. It's clean. It's slick. It's sexy. And it really showed like kind of like a different turn for Matthew Vaughn as a filmmaker. So yeah, I'm going with an S. Nick, my friend, what would you rank the first Kingsman? Kingsman: The Secret Service, and why?
The first Kingsman, I would rank an A because, as you mentioned it was kind of like a fun, like new generation twist on James Bond, and I love the James Bond franchise and series, so it was cool, basically just seeing like young James Bond, and I really enjoyed that, and the scene that sold me on it, like the man is maketh man scene, that was dope. That was dope indeed. But the scene that like really sold me on this movie was the one take church scene.
Oh yeah,
where like they're all under that mind control and they're just like going hams. Like I was like, yo, this is insane. God. That, and then the like the end scene where he has to like go in solo and basically fight everybody by himself. That scene had me on the edge of my seat, like especially once it got up to when it was like him versus Sophia Boutella, and she had like the knives for feet. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like my heart was pounding. I loved it, and it was like this movie just didn't hold back any punches, and I like that. So yeah, it's a A for me.
A for you. All right, Joe. Someone who saw it with me. What would you give Kingsman: The Secret Service, and why?
I'm gonna give it an S, man.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
I have to give it an S because it's just a stunning movie. It's memorable as shit, dude. Like everyone remembers the fucking movie, man. Like the fucking manners make a man, whatever. Fucking fantastic. I loved it from beginning to end. Like you can ask Doug. Like I usually talk during movies where I'll lean over and say like some commentary, but for that movie I was quiet. My eyes were stuck on the screen. I was just watching it. I loved it so much. And then that fucking church scene was wild, where I was like, damn, they don't do scenes like this ever. It was just the acting, the story, just all of it. The action especially was so good and so just phenomenal. I loved it so much. So I have to give it an S. I will forever give it an S. It's such a great fucking movie.
It's so good. I remember I think we had to convince our friends to go see it because they were like, it looks kind of lame, and we're like, what are you talking about? This looks fucking dope. I remember you and I were like counting down the weeks till Kingsman.
Who did we go with though? Hold on, who did we go with? Was it TJ David and Wow?
No, I think it was Carlos Galliano and two other people. I forgot who else was there.
It wasn't Gift and Given.
I don't think so. I forgot. But I remember like you, me, and I think Galliano were like, we want to see this. Well, maybe it was Carlos. And the rest of the group were like, yeah, no, that looks kind of whack. And I was like, really? Like, what's the trailers? It looks so dope. I'm like,
yeah, they were but then again, they weren't really big movie fans, so I remember that. But also, they didn't want to see it, and I think me, you, and Carlos were like, well, we're gonna go see it, so y'all can come with us or not, because like at that point we were like, no, we're gonna see this no matter what, like we have to. So yeah.
And they went.
Yeah, they did, because they had nothing else to do.
And it was freezing, and it was fucking cold. And it was cold.
They had nothing else to do, so I was like, all right.
I remember having the biggest laugh, too, was like at the end, too. Again, sorry, spoilers, it's been 10 years, almost 10 years? No, almost 10 years now, where at the end, he goes, we give me a kiss if I say the world. She goes, if you say the world, we can do it in the asshole. I'll be right back.
A good motivation for any man.
He just takes off. He takes off, and it's that pause. He goes, "I'll be right back," and he just takes off.
No, that part
and it's so good. All right, Moses, Kingsman: The Secret Service. What would you rank it, and why?
I will give that literally, an A, because that movie was nuts. Especially one thing I loved about that movie overall was literally the action sequence and also the camera work in the action sequence too as well. You know, the first time when I watched it, I was like, man, like the action, you know, sequence, and when it comes down to, you know, the camera moving, you know, I thought it was really, really cool. So, you know, I enjoy that movie, you know, a lot, and yeah, I had a really, really good time. So, I give that an A. And what do you guys mean about S? I don't really, I don't, I'm not, I don't, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of these tier lists, they do S of this like 10 out of 10, like near masterpiece almost. And I don't give a lot of movies 10s anymore because, you know, I think my voice has changed a little bit. I'm like, that was a little kind of naive as a kid. I'm like, yeah, I'm a little older. S to me is like pretty much near perfect. Like A is like amazing, awesome movie, but like S, like to me, like I have a few movies that are like 10s in my opinion, like the Rocky, the first Creed, Blade Runner 2049, The Dark Knight. Like there's a few, there's a few where I'm like, oh, Do the Right Thing is a 10 with me. Like there's a lot of movies that like I would say like, hey, it's a 10. It's like it's one of my favorites of all time, and that's definitely up there because I remember seeing it like 3 more times in the theaters when it came out with my dad and some other friends that we saw it with. So S is like legit like God's like top tier. Like it's pretty much near perfect. And yeah, a lot of other podcasts do it too, and I'll just do it as well. Because a lot of the tier lists come with like the S, the A, the B. Like I think all like the Marvel and DC stuff too. They have like S, and I think I would put like Avengers, Endgame, Black Panther up like in S category, or like Winter Soldier, stuff like that. So like S is kind of like superior. Like it can't be touched in a way. But from what I saw in other podcasts, basically is that since you guys gave it A's, it would be an A. So like even though me and Joe gave it an S, both gave it S's, the weight brings it down a little bit. It's still A is still a good score, good grade. Like don't get me wrong. Like I wish I had A's like this and grown up, but I didn't. I was a C student, as a C++ at best. So with that, we'll put out an A, but it's still a good ranking. It's not D, it's not F, it's not haven't seen, or there's a tier list that says D, F, haven't seen, or the lower behind that is dog shit. So we're gonna put the Secret Service at an A. So again, as a recap, Kick-Ass is an A, X-Men First Class is an A, Kingsman: The Secret Service is an A, Layer Cake's a B, and Stardust is a C. All right, last few. Here we go. So then, of course, Kingsman comes out. It's a huge hit. Makes a lot of money. Taron Egerton now is a huge star. Does very well internationally at the box office. Great critic responses. And of course, Fox goes, we're going to greenlight a sequel. Why not? So next movie is Kingsman: The Golden Circle, a movie that I remember I was like, oh, hell yeah, one of my favorite movies ever. They're going to do a sequel. Sign me up. And I think the teaser was really cool because it was a 45-second trailer, had a Frank Sinatra song. You saw people like Halle Berry, Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, Pedro Pascal, young Pedro Pascal before he kind of blew up. And at the end, it was like, oh, by the way, Colin Firth is back. And I was like, ooh, that would have been a really cool surprise. You know, I probably am, I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of the few that really does like Golden Circle. I think it's a lot of fun. It definitely loses its charm, though, compared to the first one. I think it's not as clever or memorable as the first one. There's some cool things to it, like the opening chase scene, or the scene on the ski resort with Pedro Pascal and the cool suits, whatever. But I guess a little kind of goofy when they go to Texas and the Statesman stuff, and like the dancing kind of when like you know when they're on like the drugs or whatever. It's a little silly, and I was like, oh, this isn't the same charm as the first one, even though I still like it a lot. It's not as clever or as this kind of like smart and sexy as the first one was. So I would give this solid C. Again, still enjoyable. I own it in my collection. I probably own that movie, but I would give it a C. All right, Nick, what would you give Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and why?
So I'm with you on this. I liked it a lot. I was a little bit let down because like I really love the first one. The trailer for the second one just had me so hyped. Like when they had that Frank Sinatra song, I thought that was really cool. but like you said, it didn't quite have the same charm that the first one had. It was just kind of like, it was a fun movie, but it felt kind of flat for me. And some of the choices that they made, I was like, I just wasn't really feeling that, And so for me, I have it as a D right now. I enjoyed it, but just for the sake of this list, I have it at a D.
Rightfully so. I was kind of C minus C. I was like, oh, I'll keep it at a C, but I see what you mean, because it came out. People were like, oh my god, I like Kingsman, because it was like everyone loved the first one, and everyone was like, what? Like, wait a second. Even my parents were like, I remember watching it with them. They're like, the hell is this? And I was like, what do you mean to go? The first one was so good. I was like, it's so good. I remember my parents were like, no. This ain't a Chief. Like, no. What's going on here? And I'm like,
yeah, they wasn't feeling it.
So okay, D. All right, Joe. What would you give the Kingsman: The Golden Circle?
I am with you guys on that one. I'm gonna give it a C. Like you guys said, it lost its charm. Like it felt like more of a money grab type of movie instead of continuing the story, continuing what could really been good. I feel like if they took more time and thoroughly thought out the story of it and how they want to play it through, I think it could have been better. But it did fall flat. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the first one. The first one was phenomenal. I truly did love the first one. So when I saw the second one and I was let down, I was a little heartbroken for the direction. And I feel like the pacing of the movie wasn't all that well either as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like, like you were watching it, but at the same time, it was like, certain scenes went on a little too long, like, or certain parts of the story, and then other things were just like, all right, cool, and then kept moving, and it's like, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, and also Halle Berry is wasted. Halle Berry is wasted. They wasted her. They could have used a lot more of her, and I don't think Julianne Moore was a good villain compared to like Sam Jackson, because I don't know, she's kind of doing this like, yeah, and this thing happens too. Also the cannibalism thing, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I was like, yeah.
She was just kind of playing that trope of like, I'm a crazy lady, but I act all like polite and nice, but I do all these like kind of crazy evil shit.
The only saving grace for the ending was for two things: the sacrifice.
That's my part right there.
And Elton John.
Elton John was funny.
Elton John was. What did you do to me, you bitch?
It's so good. It's so fun. Come on, Elton, play this song. Fuck you. It's so good. And I love how thanks to that movie, we got Rocket Man. We got Taron Egerton playing Elton John. So out of that movie, we got Rocket Man, a good performance from Taron Egerton. So yeah, respect. So it's good. There's some parts of that are fun to watch, but I remember at the end. So I remember seeing this with Moses, Nick, and two of our friends at the time. At the end, when he walks out, Jane Taylor with that fucking like tight suit, with the fucking Mr. Peanut hat, we all started laughing, bro. We were like, all right, bro, like, get off the screen,
I was like, is this gonna be what part 3 is about? Is it gonna be him?
Yeah, I was like, all right, bro, like we can. Yeah, we're not doing this.
We're not doing
We're not doing this, bro. All right, Moses. Kingsman: The Golden Circle that we all saw in college at a screening. What would you give it and why?
I mean, I had a good time, man. To be honest with you, I had a good time watching that movie. Because I went in there because the one thing I look forward to when I went in to watch, the first one was a little bit of the action sequence that they showed in the trailer. Yeah. And this one, was even a little bit more crazier.
Yeah.
And everything when it comes down to the action sequence and everything, of course the storytelling wasn't, like all there, and everything. But, I went in and I was like, yeah, better have some like cool ass, sequences and everything. And fucking Pedro Pascal was in it, and Channing Tatum and Halle Berry. I was like, man, I mean, you got my money, basically. So, That's what I went in there for when it comes down to watching the movie. So I give it a B, because I had a really good time, watching it and everything. Especially that, like, SmackDown, I forgot what scene it is where this character, I forgot who does it, but kind of picks him up from the waist and like kind of like slam dunks him down into like this like little this big like whatchamacallit, this like diner machine kind of thing and everything, and his head is like all the way split open and everything. So
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That fight sequence was crazy. Was nuts. When I was watching in the theater, so I had a good time. I give it a B. So.
Yeah, it's a fun. It's a fun movie. Again, not as good as the first, but I would agree with a lot what you said. It's fun. The action scenes are there. He knows how to do action very well. I think that translates in all his movies, including this. When you see Argyle, like, oh, it's a lot of Kingsman-esque to this. It's fun. It's fun. I might change my mind about that. Maybe down. I probably rewatch all these movies and kind of may change my mind. But for now, I'll give it still a C plus. Because I do feel like it's a lot of fun to be had. It's not as like sharp or as clever as the first one, but I remember having a good time watching it with you guys when we saw it in college. So yeah, it was
fun. A fun time.
So with Mo's giving it a B, Nick giving it a D, and then Joel not giving it a C, it kind of balances it out. So we're gonna put Kingsman: The Golden Circle at a C. All righty. So next we have The King's Man, a movie that got screwed over a lot because of Disney buying Fox, COVID, more delays. They didn't know what to do with the movie. They didn't want to put another rated R movie out because of the studio. Don't buy Fox then, Disney. I'm just saying. And there's a lot. This movie had a lot of problems just because of like delayed. And I think I read something, I forgot where, but I think it was like Disney had a little bit of interference with it just because of the merger of Fox. Because it was made under, no, so it was made by Fox before the acquisition happened by Disney. But originally, it was supposed to be a series. It was supposed to be The King's Man, a prequel series. Matthew Vaughn was going to do all episodes, write them all, and direct them all. But it would be a mini series. And I think Fox goes, no. We want to do it as a film. And he goes, but I think we work better as a series. I agree with him on that. But Fox was like, no, it's going to be a film. You're going to like it. But it was supposed to come out February of 2020. COVID happens. They go, nope. All right, coming out summer 2021. Nope. All right, how about fall 2021? Nope. It comes out like, I want to say Christmas or New Year's of 2021 and does not open well. First off, too, they should have known better. You don't open up against Spider-Man No Way Home. That's a big mistake. And also, I think also The Matrix opening up the same weekend. So you had 3 movies. You had Spider-Man No Way Home, Matrix Resurrections. Yeah, no, what's the fourth one? Resurrections? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Resurrections. And then 4, and then you have the King's Man. Then you have the King's Man coming out at the same time. The King's Man does not do well, not good reviews. It's unfortunate that it kind of came out when it did. But it poor timing, I would say, on the studio. But I think it's a fun movie. I think it has a more serious tone than the other 2 movies. I think it goes back to the serious tone of the first one. Still comedy at times. The kind of weird thing with the actor who plays the Lizard in the last few Spider-Man movies, Rhys Ifans, is that his name?
Yeah, Rhys Ifans.
Yeah, Rhys Ifans. He's kind of doing this kind of weird, like, hippie thing that kind of worked the timeline, I would say. But I really did like the World War I aspect to it, as well as like kind of like the origin of like where they come from. I think Ray Fiennes is a phenomenal actor, and I liked where it went. A little predictable at times, but I think it's definitely an improvement over Kingsman: Golden Circle, but not nowhere as good as the first Kingsman. So I would definitely give it a C plus. I think it's a lot of fun, improvement over Golden Circle, but I like that went back to the seriousness of it all, and I appreciate the prequel aspect of kind of like the old school technology and kind of like the origin of the Kingsman, stuff like that. Nick, what would you give? What would you give the King's Man, and why?
So I liked the Kingsman. I did have fun watching it. They had my boy Jimon Hansu in it.
Oh, he was so good in that.
He was good, and I was like, I want to see a sequel, and I want to see his role, expand and grow, and I want to see like where they take his character. And Ralph Fiennes was really cool in the role. I like the father son dynamic they had. In the movie, and I like there was something unexpected that happened to the son. Oh, and yeah. I was just like, yo, I did not see that coming at all. So, and I liked how heavy it affected the movie. Basically, I thought that was cool. But and I liked there was, I believe, an end credit scene. And it was cool. It was like, okay, that would be an interesting sequel. The villain for this one, he was interesting. They had Aaron Taylor Johnson in it for like 2 minutes, which I was kind of like,
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, what is, again, like it's one of those things where it's like, I like the actor, but they didn't do a whole lot. Like it feels like they could have just casted like anybody. So I don't know if they were trying to set him up for a sequel or something. But I think I didn't enjoy this one, though, as much as Kingsman 2, which is why I put it right underneath Kingsman 2 at an F.
Oh, interesting.
I liked it, though, but it's all like really, really close together, though, because I do enjoy all of these movies. Okay, it was just like the King's Man. It was like, it was cool, and there's a lot to like about it, but something about it was just like, it just kind of felt like it was missing something. It wasn't quite all the way there for me.
Damn, bro, an F.
Yeah. No,
respect, bro.
That was wild,
bro.
That's wild, bro.
I was thinking D, he said F, and I was like, oh, I was all right. Hey,
you act like that. Hey, you acting like Brandon.
Nah.
An F for not fun.
Oh my gosh. Don't ever say that to me again.
Hey, I don't know.
F for, I don't like Marvel movies. What are you talking about, bro? What? this is Kingsman.
Oh
dipshit.
My God.
Get the fuck out of here. All right. I mean, it's funny. The post-credit scene you mentioned, again, this movie's been out for 3 years now. I remember Joel goes, somebody came out here to visit. Joel goes, I bet you it's Hitler. And then sure enough, who are you? Adolf. And Joel goes, yep, called that.
Yeah, I'm like, what a crazy fucking like sequel bait. Like, god damn.
Dude, I was like, first Stalin, Hitler next. I was like, it has to be Hitler.
And sure enough, it was. He goes, they call him Adolf. And I was like, and Joel goes, yeah, if I can call that. All right, Joe, our last movie that you and I saw together, what would you give The King's Man and why?
I'm going to give it an A.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. It was missing things because obviously I felt like the original format for it was a TV show to, prolong it, draw out the story. But, since Fox didn't allow him to do that, he couldn't do it. So, he had to shorten it. I feel like that's what really was a big problem. But overall, I think the movie was a really fantastic movie. I thoroughly did enjoy it. I also liked how they tied in the history, actual history into the movie, not just about like that, the Russian royal family, but, like how, while they're driving on the street, the guy shoots him. That's an actual like historical thing that happened as well. And I don't know why, but everyone's portrayal of Stalin is always fucking different, and it's always intriguing. Like, dude, if you watch any movie with Stalin, it's always different. There's always like a different portrayal of Stalin. There's no like one way to do him. His looks stay the same: long beard, long black hair, black outfit all the time. That's fine. but the portrayal of Stalin is always very different. You know,
Right.
like they even have Stalin in Doctor Who, and they all and in that one he dances as well. For some reason, I guess Stalin liked to dance. Uh,
Just want to dance.
yeah, you know, the murdering craze. You know,
Yeah.
You're talking about
sociopath.
with the long black hair and the beard and the dark robe?
Yeah.
No, that's Rasputin, bro.
Rasputin, sorry, not Stalin. Rasputin, my bad. Every Rasputin, I'm not good with names. Rasputin, right? Yeah, whatever. Rasputin, Stalin, close enough. Uh,
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I
Anyways,
was like, Stalin doesn't dance.
tomato,
No, we
tomato,
know.
potato, potato. You know. Anyways, Rasputin, my bad. Rasputin, every portrayal of him is a little different, so it was interesting. But I did very much so enjoy it a lot more because of the seriousness in it, a lot more than the second one. I feel like this one, story wise, and you know, the pacing of the story did a lot better than the second one, and it also was able to keep me intrigued enough to just continue watching it. So I'd give it an A. Yeah.
All right, give it an A. All right, so A, C for me, and Nick got an F. All right, Moses. Kingsman. Kingsman, what would you give it and why?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't give it an F. That's for sure. Nah.
You give it dog shit.
Nah.
What can I say? I'm a tough grader.
Oh man. Okay. No, to be honest with you guys, I did not. I have not watched it yet. So, don't come at me or anything. I have not watched the film. I'm going to. Yeah, I've not watched the film yet. So, so I can't really give it a grade. So, if I did give it a grade, it wouldn't be an F though. I was letting you know, not down check. My bad. But yeah, that's
Man,
yeah.
Cat, wait till you watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll text you. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Definitely, yeah, definitely watch it because it's definitely worth the watch. But I mean, it's definitely something that like it probably should have been the Kingsman 3. But I
Yeah.
get he wanted to explore the universe because he owns the rights to the universe, so might as well. But it's cool. It's definitely cool. A lot of cool action scenes too. A lot of cool action scenes that like it was very cool. Has kind of the World War I aspect of it too. All right, so. Mo's not seeing it. Joel had an A, I had a C, and then Nick had an F. So it's kind of bounces out as a C because we have an A, two below is an F. So all right, we're gonna put the King's Man at a C. So before we do our last one, and again, obviously it's me and Nick ranking this one for now. But we can go back to this list. I'll say we'll go back to this list when Moses has seen the King's Man and when Joe and Moses have seen Argyle. I'll save this list for future reference for another podcast episode. All right, so a quick recap before we close it off with me and Nick ranking Argyle. We have at A, Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and the Kingsman, The Secret Service. At B, we have Layer Cake. C, we have Stardust, as well as Kingsman: The Golden Circle and The King's Man. All right, Nick, I think you said it already, but just a recap for Argyle. What would you rank it? B plus, A, S, dog shit, or haven't seen?
Well, I liked Argyle a lot. I think I would give it a B. Obviously, I would give it a B. It was solid.
Nah, it's kidding.
Bro, could you imagine he goes, F? I'd be like, no, don't betray me like this. Please. No.
I'm like, F. Minus. It's like this hella fucking reverb on my voice.
Dude, that would have broke my heart because I'm like, damn, I thought we were having a good time, bro. The movie's on Tuesday. Come on, man. Don't do me like this.
Oh, man. Fuck Argyle. Fuck Matthew Vaughn. Fuck Henry Cavill. Just the whole fucking list.
Well, right now, if our fellow critics have given it an F, apparently so now it's 35% Rotten Tomatoes, which is
that's
very
ridiculous.
Sad,
I do think we saw like a different cut of the movie.
We must. I'm telling you, they watched The King's Man apparently in your eyes, Nick. Yeah, I would give Argyle a solid B plus for sure. It was teetering B plus and X. I had so much fun with it too. I think what people are saying too that are like this movie, like Nick and myself, is that people just forget to have fun at the movies. Like, we don't want anything to be serious or this way or this way. Just have fun. And boy, I swear, boys, you, Moses, and Nick, Joel, I think you'll love this movie because you guys love the Kingsman franchise. It's so much fun. The cast is so much fun. They do a great job. Sam Rockwell is so much fun to watch. But I think you're having a fun time with this a lot. So we're gonna put Argyle at a B. All right. So again, just to recap one more time, we have Kick-Ass at an A, X-Men First Class at an A, Kingsman: The Secret Service at an A, Layer Cake at a B, Argyle at a B, Stardust at a C, and the Kingsman Golden Circle at a C as well, and the Kingsman at a C. And that concludes our first ever tier list. Way to go, boys. We did it. Our first tier list, the Matthew Vaughn tier list. So hope you enjoyed this tier list episode. We have a lot more in store when it comes to DC or Star Wars. Again, why Joel hates Disney so much, or or maybe Anatomy of a Fall. Moses, we fall with about people falling. We can do a tier.
Wow.
But yeah, guys, this was a lot of fun. But we will update it. I will say this right now. I will post this tomorrow, and then I will say this for future reference. But Joel, take us home, baby.
All right. Now is the perfect time to start plugging y'all selves. We're going to start with Nick. Go ahead.
You can find me on YouTube at Dawning Vision and on Instagram at Dawning Vision, all lowercase, all one word. And you can find me anywhere that they have podcasts.
All right. Doug?
You guys can find me, of course. My personal page on Instagram is at TheYoungJones. You can also find me at Twitter/X at Capri_Sun, SON. You can find our socials for the show at Midway Avenue Productions, and we for Instagram and on TikTok.
Okay, Moses.
You can find me on IG at Moses Lowy _ as well as Threads. I'm kind of kicking it there sometimes. And everything. You can find me there too as well. I just made a website. I finished my website. I finally completed that. So you can find it at directedbymoseslowy.com. It's all my work that I've done. Not all of them, except the work that I did when I was back in my freshman year in undergrad and all that stuff. But most of my work are there that I've directed, that I've written. And I'm proud of the website. So I hope you go ahead and check it out. And if you have any questions, let me know. So yeah.
You can follow me on Twitch at the OG Cuban Rican. I game there pretty often, as much as I can. All right. Well, don't forget to comment. Leave a review about our podcast, and to follow us on our social medias and share us with your friends. That'd be very much help. All right. Thank you all for joining us on this verbal journey through our thoughts, opinions, views, and mad ramblings as we usually do. We love that you guys join us every week, listen to us and enjoy our banter between each other and our views, whether they align with yours or are against yours. We're trying to grow this community to be much bigger than it is, to find people who, want a safe space to enjoy or hate movies or shows that, other people might not feel the same about. We thoroughly thank you guys, and we love doing this show, and we can't wait to be back next week. All right, stay safe. Have a good morning, afternoon, and night. Deuces.